Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic of business research management subject, types of research design. What are the different types of research design? We will discuss in detail here. A classification of marketing research designs. Research design can be divided into two parts: exploratory research design, conclusive research design. Conclusive research design again divided into the descriptive research, then causal research. Descriptive research again divided into cross-sectional design, longitudinal design. And cross-sectional design will be divided into again single cross-sectional design and multiple cross-sectional design. Now we are going to discuss about what is exploratory research design. Before discussion about the what is exploratory research design, we will discuss about the concept of exploratory research. Concept of this exploratory research is exploratory means you are going to explore. You are going to explore number of clues and number of ideas. Like we are going to discuss about the what are the causes of the corona infection. So there are number of clues are there, and researcher has researched on that, and they are now again they are exploring more and more ideas also, more and more causes also. Number of causes, like one cause is it has been spread by bat, or it may be spread by pangolin, a bird, or it may be man-made. What are the number of clues and what are the number of ideas a researcher can explore, and it is flexible. There is no any rigid way. It is flexible, and number of clues. Then they will decide the hypothesis. Then they are formulate the hypothesis. Find the hypothesis. So then the concept is, I think you must be clear about. Like exploratory means you are exploring the idea. Again, we will discuss number of other examples also. A research design characterized by the flexible and evolving approach to understanding marketing phenomena that are inherently difficult to measure. The primary objective of exploratory research is to provide insight into and an understanding of marketing phenomena. Example, discovery of America by Christopher Columbus. Inventor of photocopying machine by Chester Carlson. Both the reason they were not knowing what they are going to discover. Mainly Columbus was going to navigate to all the world, but he had discover America, and like that Chester Carlson also, he was also not knowing he is going to discover photocopying. He has got such type of the ideas. Some other examples: a juicer bar owner feels that increasing the variety of juices will enable increase in consumers. However, he is not sure and needs more information. The owner decides to do an exploratory research to find out if expanding their juices selection will enable him to get more customers, of if there is a better idea. The juicer bar owner feels that increasing in variety of the juices, then he was assuming he will get more and more customers. For that purpose, he want to get more ideas and more informations, so that he want to do some explore some ideas. He is going to produce some new juices, new juices test a variety of preferences, and then he will decide by other number of informations which particular idea will be more suitable. An investigation into the way of improvement of quality of the customer services within hospitality sector in XYZ company. Quality of the customer services in hospitality sector in investigation. XY company of any hospitality sector wants to know which type of the quality should improve in services, then his customers should be increased. Then another a study into the role of social networking sites as an effective marketing communication channel. A study into the role of the social networking sites as an effective marketing communication channel. Social networking site will more effective for the communication if we do business on social networking site. So this is the exploring. You want to explore some ideas. You want to get more and more information, clues and ideas by exploratory type of research. These are the number of examples of exploratory type of research. You will get more specifically more clear about this example. A crime investigator program was based on Sherlock Holmes, True Detective. It was a TV programs. Gives a pretty good example of the research design. This shows typically starts with a crime that need to investigate it. The initial steps is look for hints which can help establish what was happened exploratory. The clues found in exploratory phase of the research usually point in direction of specific hypothesis or explanation of events which happened. An investigator that focus their efforts into the direction performing interviews with their witnesses and suspects. The descriptive. So then in Sherlock Holmes TV, this is a very good example. This is a very good example of the exploratory. This serial started with the crime, and then after they'll investigate, and for investigation they have used the clues, number of clues, and these number of clues based on exploratory type of studies. And for that purpose, he make the investigator make the hypothesis, and that on the basis of that hypothesis, he want to reach to that direction, and he do some interviews and some other witnesses and suspects for the descriptive purpose of research. So this is the very good example for that crime. You don't have to know about who is the main criminal, but you are exploring ideas. You are exploring ideas, and on basis of that ideas, you will that clues you will reach to a number of other options, and you have number of exploring ideas for reaching the right direction. So this is second example. Exploratory research background. It is usually conducted when the researcher does not know much about the problems. They don't know much about the problems. Exploratory research is usually conducted at the outset of the research projects. Then we go next part. Uses of the exploratory research. Gain background information. Define terms. Clearing problem and hypothesis. Refine research objective. Establish research priorities. isolate key variables and relationships for further examination, gain insights for the developing an approach to the problem, establish priorities for further research. These are the number of uses of the exploratory research. Gain background information, previous information by the historical and other way, by other data, and then define terms, clarify problems and hypotheses, refine research objectives, establish research priorities, isolate key variables and relationship for the. If you are going to previous example, if you will think about the previous example, you will see previous example of Sherlock Holmes. Then you will get all the things. What was the background information in any crime? If any crime will happen, then what will be background informations? Person, a detective will also think about, or will also consider about these things. Then define terms, then clarifying problems and hypotheses, then establish research priorities, isolate key variables, relationship for the further examinations, gain insights for developing an approach to the problem, and establish priorities for the further research. These are being studied. Then methods of the exploratory research: survey of experts. First method, by survey of experts. Pilot surveys, we selected and to get the informations, selected respondents, get the information, what information you are getting, will check also. Secondary data analyze in qualitative way, like qualitative research and secondary data qualitative way. Then qualitative research, focus group, projective techniques, survey of experts. You are knowing about qualitative, secondary data analyzed in the quantitative way and qualitative research. Then another part is focus group. Focus group is group on particular group, like any doctors groups are focusing on particular disease. It will be in any medical sector, any group which will be involved for the researching any particular disease, like in present stages, present scenario. A lot of doctors are doing this. Some doctors are busy for the vaccination. Some doctors are busy for the plasma treatment. So these focus groups are now making research based. They are focusing on particular way of research. Projective technique is mainly you are going to projection. It will be based on your previous experiences also. You are going to projection about the future, what may be possible in future prospect. On the basis of that particular, these are the number of methods of the researches. What is conclusive research? Conclusive research is a research design characterized by the measurement of clearly defined marketing phenomena. Conclusive research design, as the name implies, is applied to generate findings that are practically useful in the reaching conclusions or decisions making. Example, studying the impact of Reliance Jio on Indian market telecom giants. So you should know about, like example, first we'll think about this, consider about this example. Jio, when Reliance Jio, when it has launched, it has number of features. With number of features, they have launched this product, and it was the very difficult for the other competitors to compete them. Competitors like Vodafone, like Airtel, like Idea, like a number of telecom companies. because this product Geo has introduced with a lot of features, it was very much impact. They are making the studies about this, and they are getting the benefit of this. The conclusive research design, as the name impels is applied in generate findings that are practically useful in the reaching conclusion and decisions. The Reliance company has Geo has first analyze the market, make the survey, and do the research, discover the descriptive way, and get the what type of product he should, because they have launched this product with very less amount of very less price, or it can be initially it was no price, and they have spread this product in all over India and with the number of features. Then they are successful. So first they have studied about what will be impact of this, what will be impact of the competitors. Then they have decide. So in this conclusive research, we discuss about these things. What is what is differences between the exploratory research and conclusive research? First, objectives: to provide insights and understanding of the nature of marketing phenomenon to understand in exploratory, and in conclusive, to test specific hypothesis and examine the relationship to measure. Here we are provide insights and understanding of the nature of marketing phenomenon to understand. Here we'll do test specific hypothesis and examine relationship to measure. Okay. Second point is characteristics. Information needed may be loosely defined. Here information needed is clearly defined. Because in exploratory, here, because it is flexible, so then here it is loosely, informations may be loosely defined, and information needed is clearly because it will be based on your historical and based on your secondary database. The information will be needed is clearly defined. Here exploratory can be used in their own right, may feed into the conclusive research. It will help, can be used in their own right, and may feed into the conclusive research. Here it is conclusive part, may feed to exploratory research, may set a context to exploratory findings. It is clear. Now explore the methods, survey method and pilot surveys, the panels method and structured observation, experiments. These are the number of examples of the conclusives, number of methods of the conclusives. Now let us start the classification of conclusive research design. Conclusive research design will be divided into the descriptive research, the causal research, cross-sectional design, the longitudinal design, single cross-sectional design, and multiple cross-sectional design. In what is descriptive research? A descriptive research is a type of conclusive research that has its major objective the description of something, usually market characteristics of functions. A major difference between exploratory and descriptive research is that descriptive research is characterized by the prior formulation of specific research questions and hypotheses. Thus, the information needed is clearly defined. Here it is very much important you should know about what is the difference between the descriptive and exploratory research design. In descriptive research, whatever the information is needed it is very much clear and authentic it should be. Specific research questions and thus the information needed is clearly defined. Examples: Tata, before launching Tata Nano, has done a study, determined the market size of new car called Nano. Initially, when Tata has started this, because he has seen, initially it was Lakta Kia vehicle when he was going to launch, so on the mainly price sensitive customers. So then he had initially did their survey, and this company had surveyed and then got the information how it will be accepted by the customers. And this is the best example of your descriptive research. Case: Nokia's failure. Nokia, a mobile phone giant, once had a major portion of the market share of the mobile, but gradually it has started losing its market share with its competitor Samsung. The Nokia company wants to know the causes of its failure in the market. Everyone is knowing Nokia was the giant, big giant, and it was initially it was a very big market, maybe leader of the market. But due to some reasons, this company has failed and Samsung has become the better condition. The Nokia company wants to know the causes of the failure in market. This will be based on your descriptive research. Use of descriptive research to discover the characteristics of the relevant groups such as consumers, salesperson, organization, or market areas. These are the particular areas on which we can make researches by the descriptive research. To estimate the percentage of units in a specified population, exhibition a certain behavior. So we can study about a certain behavior of the particular population also. To determine the perceptions of product characteristics, to determine the degree or to which marketing variables are associated, to make specific predictions also on the basis of these things. So we can make the usage of descriptive research, the applications. The method of descriptive research secondary data analyzed by quantitative edge opposed to qualitative manner, surveys, panels, observational and other data based. Descriptive research can be divided into two parts: cross-sectional design and longitudinal design. What is cross-sectional design and what is longitudinal design? Cross-sectional design will be based on only one sample of respondent, and information is obtained for this sample only once. Mainly single cross-sectional design. Cross-sectional design will be based on for the particular, it is horizontal. It is horizontal and it will be a particular time period. And it may be a lot of respondent maybe. It will be horizontally. It is called horizontal cross-sectional, single cross-sectional research design. There is only one sample of respondent and information is obtained from this sample is only once. In multiple cross-sectional design, there are two or more samples of respondent, and information from each sample is obtained only once. Often information from different sample is obtained at different time. So one example is cohort analysis. With the example you will get much better. The example of Coca-Cola. by various ages. Correct. Example. First, one side, this side is given your age group. This is age group, and this is your percentage. In 1950s and different years, different decades, it's given the consuming at typical days of the customers of Coca-Cola in various age. We'll see 8 to 19 years age. In 1950 it was 51 rupees. So then we'll see here it was decreasing every year. It was decreasing in every consequent year. This is the in this way. It was decreasing. It was decreasing in this time this way. Not the consequent year. It is important thing which you should understand. And here also in 1979 it is also decreasing way. But when we are going to see when 8 to 19 years person from 1950 to 1960 next decade, its consumption has increased. Then again its consumption has increased. Then it's again and next decade its consumption has increased. Then everywhere its consumption is increasing. So then we should know about how to get the data in every age group. It may be different, and consequently it is the same, but in next decade it will be different. So know about what are the cohort cross-sectional design. Then we'll go to longitudinal. Longitudinal research design will be based on type of research design involve a fixed sample of population. This cross-sectional research design will be horizontally. Means what is difference between both? I am telling you about. This is horizontally in that particular slide. So, in cross-sectional case, your research, your respondent will be in respondent chain will be in this particular area, but in a particular year. Like this is 1 year, 2020. Then here it will be your respondent suppose 1000. So then it will be for the specific. There is only sample of respondent and information is obtained from this sample only once. Once means in particular year. You are not going to for the next not going to compare in cross-sectional. So suppose here you have thousands of your respondent, then this will be for a particular year, and whatever the results will come, that will be based on this type of the what are the sample you have used this particular year 2020. Suppose I am not able to write this 2020, and this is the particular time period. So there is only one sample respondent information is obtained from this sample only once. Okay, but when we are discussing about longitudinal, then it will be different. What will be in longitudinal? In longitudinal, a typical type of the research design involves a fixed sample of population. Fixed sample of population, elements measured repeatedly. The sample remains the same over time, thus providing a series of pictures that when viewed together portray a vivid illustration of the situation and the change that are taking place. A longitudinal design differs from cross-sectional design in that the sample or samples remain the same over the time. But I am clear here. Suppose this is one in longitudinal will take less number of respondent comparatively your single cross-sectional research design. Here longitudinal, there will be for different regions, different years will take respondent for the different years. Suppose here the respondent number 1, respondent number 2, respondent number 3. Suppose here your 1 to 50 respondent are there. Then what will happen? Suppose here 1 to 50 respondent. Then what will happen here? Here it is the 2010, then 2020. Now we'll compare about before that. First decade, second decade, third decade, fourth decade. So then we can compare, comparative study we can make, but here respondent will be less comparatively. And they are horizontal. In single cross-sectional way, there will be horizontal. Or here longitudinal. In horizontal, it is for this specific year. Here will be different and different. Here it may be your 2010, then 2000. Every 5 years we can compare. Suppose these are the number of years. Year number 1, year 2, number 3, number 4. Then 2020, then 2015, then 2010, then 2005, then 2000, like that. These are the, and then you can compare the economical condition of that particular country, that particular state. Then you can compare the inflation rate, that you can compare the GDP of any particular country or state. So then it will be helpful for this type of the comparative researches. And there that will be here also you can know the social researches also, social behavioral research also, means what type of the behavior initially in this particular year, what type of behavior in this particular year, like consumer behavior is now in Corona time is now becoming completely changed. In India, not in India, but also in all over world, the behavior of people are changing in their eating behavior, their educational behavior. Every drastic change is there. Then this will be comparative study you can make from this time to previous time. So this is the longitudinal research design, and then cross-sectional research design. In longitudinal research design, it will be for different years. You can collect the samples from same respondent, and you can make the compare. This is your longitudinal research design. Now we will come to next part of this relative advantages and disadvantages of the longitudinal and cross-sectional research design. Detecting changes. Cross-sectional design it is not, but longitudinal it is much more. Plus, because we are able to compare with large amount of the data collection. Plus one. Accuracy is also in longitudinal because less number of the respondent. Representative sampling, in cross-sectional it is the benefit, and response biasness also in cross-sectional research design. So then we'll compare. Now come to the third type of the research design. This is causal. Causal research design is used to obtain evidence of cause and effect, causal relationships. a type of conclusive research where the major objective is obtain evidence regarding cause and effects, causal relationships. Example: Reliance, before introducing Reliance Jio, did a research to see whether decrease in prices, call rates, etc. can lead to increase its sales as well as increase in market share. So this was the cause and effect. Mainly, you want to know if that company Reliance will reduce the price. What will be impact of this? But this company has reduced a lot. So then, what benefits that company has got in that particular time when they have reduced the price? Because this game was completely on volume based. So then this company has expanded the volume of that product customers, and by that volume they are not getting benefit by the main mother's product, but they are getting benefits by their stakeholders like other suppliers and others. Like in this case, they get the benefit of the suppliers also, because demand of the product is much more than they were getting benefits by their suppliers and other stakeholders. What is causal research design? This is based on sun hotness and brightness creates warm weather. So then requirement of this ice cream, causation required ice cream. And when as person is tired with the hot weather, then they have required this situational treatment, then they'll purchase the ice cream. So this is also the example of the cause and effect. Means hotness, warm weather, required ice cream, and that is correlated with ice cream purchased by the customers. This cause and effect. Now, next is Kellogg's. A cereal brand owner's Kellogg's company wants to learn they will receive more sales with their new cereal box design. Instead of conducting descriptive research by asking people whether they would be more likely to buy their cereals in its new box, they would set up an experiment into two separate stores. One will be sell the cereals in only its original box, and other with the new box, taking care of to avoid any outside sources of bias. They would then measure the difference between the sales based on cereal packaging. Did the new packaging have any effect on the cereal sales? What was that effect? Mainly cereals, Kellogg company was famous for their health conscious products. So then they were producing cereals, and this company wants to know about the packaging impact. So that company has provided one packaging product on different packaging, and another product was same packaging from different stores. They want to know about what will be the impact of the packaging on their sales. Packaging may be like this. One packaging was like this. Another was the sleek packaging. Then they want to know what type of the impact of this packaging on the customer's demand. Another way that companies are also, many companies are making their impact on the packaging. Like many companies they are providing it's called deco effect. Like many companies are providing different type of the packaging in different ways, and the prices will be increased from first model to second model. It is less, but third model it is a lot of price will increase. So then person with some more amount want to purchase some different product. Then in car and many other products, they are now using such type of decoy effect, because in first model it was about a simple model, and then second model maybe some different in third model, and price will be from very 1 lakh to 2 lakh difference. 1,50,000 more than 70,000, 80,000 in next model. So then people approach to go for the next model. So this is the way they are playing with the psychology of customers. So this is the way they are going to purchase the, and we said they are going to use the psychological effect for the selling their products by the decoy effect. The packaging in Kellogg's company was using research on that. What will be impact of packaging on their sales? Different packaging on their sales. Now next concept is next slide is use of the causal research to understand which variables are cause independent variable and which variables are effects dependent variable of phenomena. To determine nature of the relationship between the causal variables and effect to be predicted. Suppose any company, one of the variable is your, suppose one variable is dependent variable. Dependent variable will be equal to yours number of independent variables. Independent variables IV1. Okay, maybe other variables also affect. Then IV2, maybe more than other variables. Then what? Then one is here E. So number of variables. One will be dependent variable, another will be your independent variables. So with independent variable and one independent variable, and like any product, suppose person purchased the product due to quality of the product. So their buying behavior is the depending variable. Buying behavior is the depending variable. That depending variable is dependent variable will be based on your quality of the product, based on price of the product, maybe other number of variables. So what will be impact of this variables? Like this variable is maybe quality, this variable will be price. So this variable will be your dependent variable. Its impact. By this impact, we can predict this buying behavior of customer. Buying will increase or decrease. If quality of the product will increase, if quality of product will not increase, if price will increase or decrease or suitable way, everything you can study in this way. Then one concept is here, that is error. Error means this is noise. Error means noise in different, when we are discussing about the dependent and independent variable. And this is the unexplained variables. This is unexplained variables. Suppose we have studied about this concept, the buying behavior of customer. It was based on your price, it was based on quality of any product. But we can explain only 80% of this concept. 20% it is noise. We are unable to explain about this. So this is the concept behind the variables. Now come to the what are the difference between the variables, different between the different type of the research. On the basis of objectives, discovery of the ideas and insights. Second, descriptive, describe market characteristics or functions. Causal, determine causes and effects relationship. Then on the basis of characteristics, flexible, versatile, marked by the prior and formulation of specific hypothesis, manipulation on or more independent variable. And methods, experts surveys, pilots surveys, the number of methods, panels, observations, and other data experiment is in causal. Then exploratory, a discovery of ideas and insights. Characteristics, it's exploratory, it is flexible and versatile. Then method, experts survey, pilot and pilot surveys. And in descriptive research, descriptive market characteristics or functions marketed by prior functions of the specific hypothesis, panels, observation, and other data, determine cause and effects, relationship, manipulation on or more independent variables, experiments. So this is the complete concept of this topic. Types of the research design. You must go through in detail and clear your concept and make your notes for the exam. Thank you very much. We discuss next topic, which is sampling. Thank you very much.